Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Eco Africa, your weekly environmental show. As always, we've got a great lineup of reports on inspiring ways to protect our planet. I am Sandra Twinovideo, coming to you from Kampala here in Uganda.
And I am Chris Elems in Lagos, Nigeria. Like Sandra said, we have a number of environmental ideas and tips to share with you today. Here's a quick look at what's coming up. How to clean up a lagoon in Ivory Coast or elsewhere. Why solar energy can really pay off in Somalia, for example. And why pangolins are still heavily poached in southern Africa. Waste disposal remains a huge problem in many African countries. Plastic trash is now incinerated in many places, which of course is not so great for air quality. But a lot still ends up in streams and rivers and ultimately the sea. That's the case in Ivory Coast. In our first report, we'll see why water pollution there is threatening fishes and other local residents in equal measure.
Just like generations before him, a fisherman casts his net into the Ebri Lagoon. But the yields are no longer the same. Fish have become scarce in recent years as a result of pollution and habitat degradation. You can throw out the net as much as 10 times and not catch any fish. We did it twice and only got 2 small fish. Is that enough for us? It can't be enough. In years past, Akmel Adujema could earn up to €300 a month during the season. Now to make ends meet, he started making canoes. The largest can sell for the equivalent of €300. I have children and one job is not enough to get by on. I have to branch out in order to earn enough money to take care of my children and myself. Boat building may have promise. With an area of 560 square kilometers, the Ebri Lagoon is separated from the Atlantic Ocean by a narrow coastal strip. Situated on its banks is Abidjan, Ivory Coast's economical capital. The push for growth has led to increased industrial activity. Many local companies treat the lagoon like a garbage dump, discharging industrial waste and sewage into the water. Scientists at the Ocean Research Center are trying to gauge the impact of the pollution. Samples have revealed the presence of pesticides and heavy metals such as mercury, arsenic, and lead. The researchers say the lagoon needs more protection and would like to see the authorities implement stricter laws. This kind of legal instrument is generally lacking in West Africa. Yes, there is talk about an integrated management system, but this management word is really limited. It's not efficient because it lacks legal instruments. That has led some citizens to take action themselves. Here in Tukuzu, around 100 kilometers west of Abidjan, the NGO SOS Forest wants to put an end to the clearing of mangrove forests. These areas are a treasure trove of biodiversity, and the trees' roots provide shelter for fish during reproduction. They also strengthen the soil against erosion and filter heavy metals out of the water. The NGO helps local residents organize planting schemes. Today's goal is 500 new trees. This solution will enable the restoration of resources that had disappeared or been degraded by human activity. But it will also improve the quality of life for residents. This island is kept afloat by 700,000 recycled plastic bottles. The project, which aims to raise environmental awareness, sits in the lagoon close to Abidjan. Once a month, the NGO 350 organizes educational trips here to teach children about the importance of recycling. We think that this kind of visit will help to encourage them to become ecologically minded. And in addition to that, also to enable them to be actors of change for a world to come. Fisherman Germain is optimistic. He believes the lagoon will recover and the fish will return. Yes, it will be okay. They'll come back, although I don't know when. But it will take some time. So Akmel Adru Germain may want to focus on his carpentry business for now.
Now we'll head from Ivory Coast to Somalia. The civil war-torn country faces many problems, including being one of the poorest states in the world. 70% of Somalia's population lives off the land. Solar irrigation has the potential to make their lives easier. Let's take a look at a thriving solar power startup.
This fertile region in southern Somalia gets its name from the Shabelle River, which also gives local farmers the water they need to grow fruits and vegetables. But getting the precious resource to the fields often requires a pump and a diesel-powered generator.
There are a lot of issues involved in using generators to irrigate our farm. Diesel is very expensive and generators need weekly repairs. They usually don't pump enough to irrigate the farm and they pollute the air.
His farm is located outside Jowhar, the administrative capital of the Middle Shabelle region. Here too, most people struggle to get by. Electricity is a luxury.
Electricity is very expensive here. We need more, but we can't afford it. The only thing we use electricity for is to charge our cell phones.
With obvious demand for affordable and environmentally friendly power, two Somali entrepreneurs devised their own concept and opened up a store here in Jowhar in 2017. They sell solar power units and now do business in 3 regions of the country.
We started this solar project with small families in rural areas after we saw that they had a big problem charging their phones. And they also had to deal with the issue that their phones were sometimes stolen on the way to a nearby town to recharge them.
The company also installs larger-scale solar facilities. Among the buyers is Mohammed Tiryare. His goats are his livelihood. After suffering repeated nighttime raids on his flock, he set up a lighting system to ward off the thieves. It uses just one panel, and the supplier made him an attractive deal.
I exchanged 2 of my goats, Tall Moon and Timiro, for the solar panel to light up my goat shed and my home. Also to charge my phone. I'm very happy with it. Thank God and those who gave it to me. I encourage you to introduce it to other people so they can also benefit.
The informal payment scheme, called Goat for Solar, makes solar units affordable for a far larger number of people. A lot of them also pay in installments. One panel costs the equivalent of €112. Noor Diesel needs 8 to power his water pump. He's already made a down payment of €300 and will be covering the rest in monthly installments. For farmers like him, solar energy is uncharted territory.
The farmers didn't think that solar power could be used for irrigation. A generator can only irrigate 1 hectare. We show the farmers how solar power can irrigate 2 to 3 hectares or more. We demonstrate how it works and how they can irrigate their field with it, so that they can stop using the generator.
The families also get some maintenance tips on changing the batteries and removing dust and dirt at regular intervals. Solar power has vast potential in Somalia, but there's a lack of investment in renewable energy sources. Years of civil war and conflict have severely restricted development, but some energy experts are optimistic.
There's a lot of opportunities for both local and international investors in the renewable energy sector. Somalia recently passed a foreign investment law, which makes it easier for international investors to come into the country. But as soon as the security improves, investment will come.
For people living in the Shabelle region, their investment has paid off. Noor Diiso and his wife Halima Abdullah Gabo are already seeing a return.
Previously, when we paid for the diesel and workers' wages, we couldn't break even, and sometimes we made a loss. But now we're making profits and expect to increase our production because of this project.
They dismantle and put away the system every evening due to the threat of thieves. In next to no time, it's become their most treasured possession. Their future depends on it.
From Africa, we now head to Europe. Generally speaking, not many people would probably think of Greece as a digital trailblazer. But there are some pretty impressive pilot projects underway there.
Indeed, they are, Chris. In Trikala, an urban center in a largely rural region, the mayor is driving a tech revolution. He wants the city to be an example for the rest of the country, smart, green and clean. We visited the city to find out what that means.
Trikala's mayor, Dimitris Papasteriou, won't let an occasional internet crash get to him, not even with a delegation from his German sister city looking over his shoulder. They're gathered in the town hall's control room. From here, the first smart city in Greece is operated. The German guests are impressed.
I'm a computer scientist myself, and to be honest, they're a step ahead of us. We can learn something from them.
From here, the staff can monitor how many parking spots are occupied, the municipal water pumps, power usage for the street lighting, and even how full the dumpsters are. Papasteriou is aiming for a green and energy-efficient town. He admits he'll need far more than a high-tech control room.
This isn't just about new technologies. It's about a new way of thinking that we need here in Greece. We've seen where the old thinking got us.
For example, breaking the habit of going everywhere by car. Mayor Papasteriou rides his bike where he can. Trikala has become known as the country's bicycle-friendliest town. The otherwise average community of over 80,000 in central Greece is exploring other tech solutions, such as the electromobiles the mayor brought in for the town's officials, a modest first step towards what he envisions as a Greek Silicon Valley.
We have the advantage of our central location in Greece, and I'd like to see young, creative startups settle here. With the right thinking, we can stop the migration to the big cities and win the young people back.
Georgios Chrysomalos is in the vanguard of the young tech elite. He's helping the region's farmers achieve better crop yields.
We can measure all the humidity, the relative humidity of the atmosphere, the humidity in the soil, the temperature here, the barometric pressure, and have custom solutions for the farming. And because we have a mayor that is open-minded, that keeps me here.
Back at the town hall, the open-minded mayor is showing his guests from Amberg the next innovation, a machine for printing official documents and forms. For now, it just prints test sheets. The Greek government won't accept electronic signatures.
Instead of supporting us, the government and its agencies are always tossing wrenches in the works. So we try to find ways to get around the government agencies. We're not going to let them slow us down.
The idea is to make dealing with the city government, unlike the federal agencies, as unbureaucratic as possible for the people of Trikala, whether applying for building permits or marriage certificates. Every email receives a prompt answer.
Things have gotten much better, but they'd be even better if the document printer were operational.
I filed my application via internet, and I picked it up today completely processed.
And if someone's unable to pick up their papers in person, there's a municipal courier service to bring them to their home. Citizen services also play a major role in parking in town. Drivers can find and pay for a parking spot using an app, but not every citizen has the tech to do it.
I don't have the app. I just park where I don't have to pay.
Trikala won't be resting on its laurels. A self-driving minibus will be in service here. Ideas like these have brought praise for Trikala and money too. Energy and cost-efficient management have helped the town reduce its debt burden by almost half. Trikala is setting an example for the rest of Greece. The way out of financial crisis is the smart way.
We've presented many reports on the huge amount of firewood that is burned in Africa. That is a major factor in deforestation on the continent. For this week's Doing a Bit segment, we hear about an example in Benin that shows how things could be done better.
Near the coast of Benin, many people make their living from fish. It's mainly women who buy up the catches before smoking the fish and then selling them. But they often use cardboard boxes as fuel, which can release hazardous fumes, including carbon dioxide. That's why the NGO Young Volunteers for the Environment has designed a new type of brick-built oven.
At first, we'll still use wood, but these ovens don't use as much of it, and they allow the women to produce more smoked fish in record time. Plus, with these ovens, the women can work together.
The NGO has built 5 of the large-scale ovens in Benin. They're used collectively by more than 100 women in 3 villages.
I like the new oven. The smoke isn't a problem for us anymore because it rises upwards. It's also better for our eyes than the way we used to do it.
The idea is to eventually phase out wood completely and replace it with biochar. That's charcoal made from plant matter, such as leaves. And that would further reduce the CO2 emissions.
And how about you? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
As we may know, many animal species are on the brink of extinction. But sadly, that fact has not slowed down the trend in wildlife. Each year, millions of animals are shipped around the world. Some of them are even sold online.
And that's happening even though it's illegal to trade in endangered species. The ugly truth is money talks, and global illegal wildlife trafficking is estimated to generate revenue of between 9 and 23 billion US dollars a year. We head to South Africa, where conservationists are fighting to protect one particularly shy animal, the pangolin.
An undercover sting operation on the outskirts of Pretoria. Police are hoping to catch pangolin traffickers red-handed. Raymond Jansen, an expert on African pangolins, is posing as a dealer. Hours later, 3 men have walked into the trap. A small pangolin is found in their car. These creatures' scales are used in traditional Chinese medicine, and its meat is considered a delicacy, which is why the illegal trade in pangolins is booming.
That was a hard one.
As Jansen explains, operations like these are conducted every 2 or 3 weeks.
Good luck. The pangolin is now a formal exhibit, so it has to be booked into the police station, not physically, but on paper, and then booked out with a certain identity number. And from here, the pangolin will go to the hospital in Johannesburg, and the suspects will appear before a magistrate to face formal charges tomorrow morning.
This is a young pangolin that still needs nursing by its mother. It would have probably only survived another 10 days or so in captivity, says Jansen. Its mother is probably dead.
It's a little boy, 2.6 kilograms, and we let him just quickly walk around so we can have a quick look at the condition. If his tail drags on the floor, it's trouble. If he uses all 4 limbs, it's also trouble, because this species of pangolin is bipedal, only walking on its hind legs. So if they use all 4 limbs, then it's very weak.
Veterinarian Kelsey Skinner administers anesthetic before giving the little pangolin a full examination. Her clinic has already treated 160 animals, many of them in critical condition due to dehydration, deep gashes, or parasites that weaken their immune system. Pangolins are the most trafficked mammals in the world.
We've only really been monitoring pangolin trafficking globally for about 10 years. But over the last 4 to 5 years, it's grown exponentially up to levels that are completely unsustainable for all 8 species.
An estimated 100,000 pangolins are captured each year by poachers. Fortunately, this little specimen has no injuries, but given its weight loss, it evidently spent a lot of time in captivity. It will be a challenge for the animal to get used to its new environment. But Kelsey Skinner is confident about its prospects, having previously helped other pangolins of a similar age.
They really are so different, be it an adult, be it a youngster. Some of them are very shy, some of them are a bit more robust and give you a bit of a hard time when you try to work with them. Some of them are even comedians when they go out feeding. They roll around and they roll in dung, in natural wild dung, and some of them are very shy. It's just incredible the difference in their personalities and how they come out when they feel comfortable around us.
As part of her ongoing research on pangolins in Namibia, last year, Kelsey Prediger founded a new and unprecedented conservation group dedicated to the animals. The zoologist uses camera traps and transmitters to track and study their behavior. But they're solitary, primarily nocturnal animals, and they share their habitat with dangerous predators, all of which makes them hard to research.
They are mammals, yet they look like little dinosaurs, and a lot of these special behaviors, like a mother with a pup and things, have rarely been observed, so it feels very special to even get to watch them.
The relatively little knowledge we have about pangolins also has technical reasons. Many of the transmitters available are too big. So, Kelsey Prediger has approached specialist companies with a view to closing that data gap with custom-made tracking devices.
This transmitter was chewed by a hyena while it was still on the pangolin, and unfortunately we lost the GPS unit, and you can see why they need to be tough.
Tonight, Kelsey Prediger and Ranger Saki Joseph are looking for a female. The battery for its transmitter needs changing every 3 months. The animal was released nearby a year ago and has since been supplying the researchers with valuable data. It enables them to track how much time the animal spent roaming the area until it settled. They can also perform regular checks on its health.
And this information is valuable to us in understanding what factors help a successful reintegration of an individual, because there are a lot of territorial conflicts with resident pangolin, and an understanding of how they settle in is very valuable for the future.
Back in South Africa, the little pangolin recovering in Johannesburg has now been given a name, Stephen, after the policeman who rescued him and a lot of other pangolins. Every day, Stephen is taken outdoors into nature for a while, also to get him used to feeding on ants again.
We aim for a target weight of 6 to 6.5 kilograms. It's when they're strong enough to curl up and be able to keep themselves curled up in their protective ball. They then go to a safe release site and get introduced into a soft release process.
But for now, Stephen is given water from a bottle after his daily exercise. Thanks to that care, his weight is now back up to 4.5 kilos. Once he's put on another 2, it'll be time to say goodbye to Stevie, as he's fondly known here.
That is all for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show and perhaps learned something new. I am Sandra Twinovidio signing off once again from Kampala. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Before we go, remember you can keep up with news on the environment by following us on our social media platform. I am Chris Elems in Lagos. So long for now.